FSF PopCast live show. Well, hello, kids and cadets. Welcome to another FSF PopCast. No, John, we are not going to be late.
It's a Festivus miracle.
It is, really. There was potential. There's always potential that there is lateness that could be had. And woohoo, Jesse from Crusher Convo is here. Awesome. But Kitty Beverly is already asleep. Understood. So our cat, 7, not named after 7 of 9, but because he's polydactyl and has 7 toes, is sleeping out in the kitchen.
So I have not had a chance to listen to or watch the latest episode of Crusher Convo podcast, but I understand it's kind of cool. They got some guests that they kind of wanted and sort of awesome. What was her name?
This whole Gates McFadden. Maybe you've heard of her. Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah, she was on a TV show.
She was on that. She did that. She was a doctor on that one show, doing that one thing at that one place. So,
but it is on my to listen list.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. It's also on my list of things to do, because if I'm going to listen to if I'm going to listen to a podcast about Star Trek, it's going to be Crusher Convo. That's my primary that I check out, and strongly encourage everybody to check out Jesse's work there at Crusher Convo. She's been on the show here a couple times. We really do enjoy having her here, and and love having her opinions when she pops in as well. And right back at you, kiddo. She's just awesome. But her show, and there's a couple other Trek shows I catch up to, but but hey, so tonight is what we like to call our happy hour. Kathleen is not here tonight, so that's why there's a big red X on Kathleen's face, because she's a voodoo head, and we didn't want her. No, just kidding. So she needed the night off. Kathleen needed the night off. She's had a week and a half, and she just needs some time. So we're giving her the night off, and so that way John can stay happily married.
Yeah, Friday was our 10th wedding anniversary. She hasn't killed me. But when we spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with her family, like 180 miles from where we live, the driving and everything was it takes a toll. So
it does.
And then having to be a mom and the whole homeschooling thing and the stuff. And
there's the things and the stuff. And so because it is happy hour, as you would in most places where there's happy hour, I will be drinking this fine beverage right here, Jameson Black Barrel. I'm a big Jameson fan, and woohoo! So yeah, I'm still here in all capitals.
I love that song from Treasure Planet, by the way.
Let's see. Well, we got a whole bunch of comments to get back up to. Jesse said, it's weird from the outside. Howdy, Tim and John. How goes your weekend? Sorry about the Lions. Still one pride. Well, we lost four players last night on the Lions to season-ending injuries. Aleem McNeil tore his ACL. David Montgomery tore his MCL. Whatever happened to Kevin Dorsey's foot should not happen to any human being's foot. That dude's foot was on a merry-go-round. It was just spinning everywhere. It was rough looking. And then Carson Davis broke his jaw. So yeah.
The NFL writers had it in for us last night.
Ooh, but we still came back and kept it a game, 48-42. The Bills are just a really tough team. So, but they were having their own defensive struggles with injuries and all that stuff as well. And yes, Jesse, you have snuck some Trek into this world.
I'm just sad that this week is the last episode of Lower Decks. It's the series finale. It breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah, it's not the season finale; it's the series finale.
Yeah,
which stinks because that's honestly one of the shows that helped me get into Trek. Because I needed something to make it a little light, a little levity, and that did it for me, and it made me want to watch it. Jesse does say hi to Kathleen. Granzer also says watching a NASA accidentally detects an abandoned secret military base in Greenland. Not conspiracy. Interesting.
Huh.
Drayton. Shh, she's listening. She's always watching.
Always
Always watching, Wazowski. In memory of Kathleen, yes. Are you invisible? It depends. So yeah, Jameson Black Barrel. That's what we're working on. Jessie's got her water.
I have water too.
Exactly. I also have water. Got a Jameson with something. Love
water on your whiskey.
Fresh orange. Have you ever tried Jameson orange, by the way?
I have not.
I had that opinion of it till I tried it, and I was like, okay, this is delightful, and I need more.
I have yet to have a good experience with flavored whiskey. Maybe I'm just picking the wrong ones.
You're picking the wrong ones. But with that being said, I don't go into all flavored whiskeys being like, yay, flavored whiskey. I'm also very, very cautious. Yeah, Monty is out too, and like to bring it up, put us on. Yeah,
Yep.
Ooh, still invisible.
Who said that?
Exactly. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, and we're pretty excited. We're hoping to have a little bit of fun here tonight. Now, again, we're about 6 minutes in, but I do want to take just a quick second to thank our show partners. That, of course, is our brand new one, Bones Coffee. So down in the show notes down below, if you have not already checked out Bones Coffee, go to bonescoffee.com. I want to say it's, Bones, maybe even Bones Coffee. Anyway, the link is down in the show notes down below. Don't trust my memory. Go with what's typed into the show notes down below because that is actual and factual. If you type in FSF PopCast, you'll get 10% off of your order, and you'll get to have some fun there. Also,
Fun thing. This is actually how Tim types.
Well, there's a pinky in there every now and then too. Also want to say thank you to TCT, where fandom meets fashion. Really fun, nerdy merch company that we like to work with. Eddie AI, they help us with all our shorts and our videos, our reels, and things like that. And of course, Level Up Sabers, because it is always better to have a saber that's better than a stick.
Guaranteed.
So, guaranteed to be better than a stick. And then before we get into anything Star Warsian tonight, because that is the main direction of our conversation, just want to remind you that Trek Talks is coming up on January 18th, 2025. John Billingsley and Bonnie Gordon will once again be the hosts, and this all-day telethon goes to benefit the Hollywood Food Coalition, which really helps out people who are having a hard time and need to get some food. They're going to help out with that. But yeah, it's the Hollywood Food Coalition is amazing charity that John Billingsley works very closely with. And so right now we're working on a date to get John Billingsley and Bonnie Gordon to come on our live show. We're going to sit down with them. You guys will be able to ask them Trek questions. We're going to talk about Trek Talks, Hollywood Food Coalition, all of it, and reasons why you should be in attendance on that YouTube stream on January 15th. So there is that. And then as a reminder, because we are talking about mainly Star Wars tonight, as a reminder, on Thursday, we will have our Star Wars Skeleton Crew review, because episode 4 comes out tomorrow night, and that's only 26 hours away, and I think I can do it. I think I can. I'm excited. Episode 3 was amazing, and I need to see more of Kim, the cat owl thing, because she was awesome.
Yep. I agree.
Yep. I agree with myself. Now tonight we're mostly going to be talking about the movie The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But because yesterday was the 7th anniversary of the movie's release.
Yep.
But we can't acknowledge that movie's anniversary and release without acknowledging this movie's anniversary and release, because that's today, the 8th anniversary of Rogue One, which in my opinion is still it's in my top 3 of Star Wars movies of all time. That movie is just, from start to finish, the way that movie just goes and just the way it ends and makes me want to go. I need to watch the end of Rogue One and go straight into A New Hope, because that marriage there between those two movies is just chef's kiss. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, Rogue was so good. It is amazing. And I love how it's what they're doing with Andor to lead up to Rogue One. You know, yeah. Oof. Ro from Scarif Podcast. Yeah, actually, yeah, guys, go check out Scarif Podcast. By the really fun pop culture podcast. They talk a lot of Star Wars, and Ro, the host of that show, loves Rogue One. But as well, you should. But
Rogue One is just a solid movie. It didn't matter that it was Star Wars or not.
Yeah,
it was a good movie.
Well written, just so well written.
Star Wars is just like a little bit of frosting on top, and that just adds to it.
Exactly. And I love the joke that Ro from Scarif Podcast always throws out about there. He always throws out about wondering when there's going to be a Rogue 2. But to get some of the comments that he gets are pretty entertaining. So
really,
yeah. Rogue One is the best, hands down. Yeah. It's like I said, literally in my top 3. And just to clarify that the top 3, number 1 is always Empire. And number 2 and 3 depends on the day, but it's either Rogue One or Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Those are my top 3.
Right.
And past that, it's a whole lot of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, depending on what day I'm, how I'm feeling that day. And because, Star Wars.
Right. So. And the answer to any problem we have with Star Wars is
more
Star Wars.
Yeah. See, I knew I liked Jessie for a reason. She has the same top 3. So,
woohoo! Solid reasoning. Very
solid. Rogue, then the Christmas special.
Okay, so I tell you what, we should add on our Patreon, have like $100 level where somebody gives us $100. We'll watch the holiday special and record our reactions to it. And for $200, we'll do it sober.
Yeah, it will not be a happy hour. That will be a sober hour and a half. Because I'm gonna need it to get through the B. Arthur dance number.
That's a delight. The animation with the Boba Fett bit, that's what gets me.
See, I can not worth the money. That was my favorite things about the sci-fi. You can always fix plot holes with more story. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The grandpa watching OnlyFans in the living room. Okay, you're not wrong. That's the thing. And it's just the look on his face, like when he's got the VR on. I was like, wow. Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that until just now. To put it in those terms, I want to go home and rethink my life. Yeah. Except I'm already home.
It wouldn't be OnlyFans. That'd be only Wookiees, right? An OW. I maybe didn't like Wookiees. Anyway, that's a whole dark tunnel I don't want to go down.
Yeah, there are conversations at work today I don't want to revisit.
All right, so, but let's talk about what we're here to talk about tonight, and that is The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So this movie came out in 2017. I had to do the math in my head, count back to get the correct number of years back. And this movie has kind of been a lightning rod in the Star Wars community. It's either really loved.
Yep.
Yeah. Kendall's playing Sims right behind me. Clearly she's not listening to everything, but she hears the OnlyFans part and assumes that it was my joke. Well, it was not. But I just,
Isn't that how it works with kids? They don't listen until it's something you don't want them to hear.
Right. They hear what they need to hear just to kind of get them through the moment.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of really interesting posts on Threads the other day. And I hear things against my will.
Yeah, I had the same problem when I lived. Anyway.
Anyhow, has to pay for your book habit somehow, Kendall.
Yeah. This is taking a weird turn. Let's get back on topic.
It's taking a very weird turn. Anyway, there were some really cool posts about The Last Jedi on Threads the other day. And if I was better at this, I would have this all prepared and be like, hey, look at these really cool posts from Threads. And that way you guys could see what I'm looking at. And I'm getting there. So anyway, let's remove this off the screen, and I will share screen because this is...
Be careful. Which tabs do you have open?
Well, nothing fun, so you'll be fine. But anyway, so this is from Threads, and this is this guy named Tall Tales, and I really liked his point of view because there's nothing inaccurate about what he says, in my opinion. Okay. Because a lot of the complaints that people had about The Last Jedi is that it was so out of character for Luke to act the way he acted and for Luke to do the things he did. Now, before we go into this whole list, because this is only part of it, what you see on the screen, my problems with The Last Jedi, I'm just going to quickly throw these out there, and I've mentioned them before on the show. I have two problems. I don't have a problem with the fact that they made Luke a hermit. I had a problem that they made him into the Onceler from the Lorax. Come back tomorrow and I'll tell you more about the Force. That's how I felt with the whole interaction with him and Rey. Okay. It was kind of like the same thing over and over, just kind of repeating it. The same, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. And then secondly, I know Leia has the Force. I know that she's, she could have been, should have been a Jedi should she wanted to have been a Jedi. She chose not to. Right. And I understand that, and I get that. I still hate the Mary Poppinsing back into the ship from outside of it.
Yeah.
I know there's reasons for it, and I get that. I do, but I have a really hard time with it. Past that, I don't have a problem with much of the movie.
So my two problems are, in the beginning, the bomber squadron not being ordered back. Like, Leia's trying to order Poe, and Poe's ignoring her, but she could have ordered the bomber squadron back. Because they still had their communications on, theoretically, right?
Right.
So they could have just... And at the end, when Rey lifts all the stones at once, because until Kenobi, the series, we didn't see anybody else do that. And that was like on a scale beyond anything Yoda had demonstrated or any of the other Jedi who actually had decades of training and experience. Little things here and there, telekinesis, mind reading, whatever, I'm fine with. But I can do something no Jedi's ever done, that was a stretch.
I get that. And only two. Yeah, honestly, those are my only two complaints.
Yeah.
And I think those are John's really only two complaints. But let's go through this list from Tall Tales. He said, apparently 7 years ago today, Star Wars The Last Jedi was released. This turned out to be a divisive movie for the fan base due to the way Luke acted. But as someone who has only consumed Star Wars through the visual media and never read any of the books, let me remind you what Luke did. When he met Yoda, he was impatient and angry at him. When he met Vader in his test on Dagobah, he struck first. He ignored both Yoda and Obi-Wan to rescue his friends. He ignored them again when he faced Vader. In his final confrontation with Vader, he only beat him through anger at the mention of Leia. He only stopped hacking away because the Emperor goaded him. Would he have stopped on his own? In The Mandalorian, he gave Grogu an ultimatum. Stay with him or go with Mando. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. So his final wrap-up was, yes, he was a good guy, but he wasn't perfect, and his actions in TLJ are not totally out of character.
No.
So here's my thing. I agree with all of those.
Me too.
All of those are because if you go back and you watch the movies and all those things, if you're going from just a visual media perspective, as he was, it's accurate. Now, and you and I have talked about this before. I never got into the Legends books. I never, there's a couple of them out there that I do like. It just wasn't for me at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, but everything else I see about Luke, I'm going, yeah, this makes sense to me.
Right. I mean, even the way the shot was framed with him standing over Kylo with his lightsaber was a callback to him standing over Vader with the same lightsaber. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but there are times when, even though I'm in my 40s, I will realize I'm saying and doing something the exact same way I did it 20, 30 years ago, or the way my dad did it, as much as I might have disliked the guy.
It's muscle memory.
I catch myself in those moments. I see the faces of the people around me. I'm like, oh, wait, I done messed up, Aaron. That's all Luke did. He was human.
Yeah,
it's
I
the
agree.
thing. He wasn't the legend from the Legends books.
Mm-hmm.
And he bought into his own hype.
Yeah, he bought into his own hype. It's basically what happened. Kathleen says, John starts, my only two problems, in the beginning, and my brain finished it with, in the beginning, the universe was created. This made a lot of people angry and has been widely considered as a bad move.
Not again.
Innocence Law says, the entire casino scene, looking for a hacker, wasted so much time and money.
I can see that.
Okay, so it's not my favorite part of the movie, but I don't have a problem with it being in the movie. I'm hoping, now here's my hope, is that we see a lot of tie-ins with other Star Wars projects. And we see, this being drawn back from this being drawn back from that. I'm really hoping that the whole payoff to this showing of the casino and everything that happened on that planet and everything else is that we see something with Broom Boy in Rey's Jedi movies.
Yeah, if he's not there, I'm going to have a problem.
I do. I will too, because the movie ends with Broom Boy, looking, doing
using the Force,
doing Jedi-ish things. And so, I think we really have to have that tie-in somewhere. And so, even that I'm hoping is the payoff, is that we see Broom Boy, now older, able to join in Rey's new Jedi school, because Rey's Jedi school is supposedly supposed to be spent sometime into the future. An undetermined amount of time so far, but hopefully old enough for Broom Boy to maybe be a teenager and start, doing some training. So that's what I'm hoping for.
It'd be cool if John Boyega came back too, for Finn to actually realize some of his potential.
Hoping.
We
have no proof that Luke wasn't trying to save him from a Sith spider.
I will second that.
Okay, and if there is a Sith spider there, more power to him. Hack away. See, also, the opening scene of Last Jedi is just insane. Can you explain how you lob a ballistic in space when there is no gravity?
So, I vaguely remember somebody explaining this once, that there was artificial gravity inside the ship, which we can tell because people fall, objects fall, and that was used to start the momentum of the bombs falling out of the ship. And once they hit 0G, there was no resistance, and they just kept going. I could be wrong. I could be simplifying. I don't know. Tim, I saw him.
I don't have a problem with this at all, because we make exception for the fact that there's no sound in space, but everybody knows what a TIE fighter sounds like. We make exception for the fact that there's no explosions in space, but yet the Death Star has blown up 17 ways from Sunday. So we have, because it is science fiction, and it's more fiction than science when we're talking about Star Wars.
It's now a space opera.
Exactly. It's a space Western, a space opera. So we're willing to dispel our belief systems when it comes to some of these other things. So if we're going to get real technical about some of this, we want true science in our Star Wars, we need to watch Star Trek, because that's going to be more advanced and closer to. Don't give me that look, John.
The Heisenberg compensators kind of stretches it a little bit, but anyway,
it does. But still, the point stands that if you want more science in your science fiction, then you need to go away from a space opera and point to a show that's going to give you more science, like a Star Trek instead of a Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So I believe you have to this again is one of those areas, Innocence Lost, where you're going to have to dispel your belief system a little bit and accept the fact that you're not going to lob something like that in real life, and that maybe there's just that's just movie magic. Yeah. Hello, Janice. Howdy. Welcome to the show. So yeah, but yeah. So I mean, when I look at The ultimate space opera, Babylon 5. So
Isn't that on
good.
Prime Video now?
It is on Prime Video now. So yeah, if you're an Amazon Prime member or you are using somebody else's password, you can watch that on Amazon Prime. We do not encourage password sharing. So, but yeah, like I said, so if you're just joining us on the show now, we are talking about The Last Jedi, Episode 8 in the Star Wars universe. I do like the fact that one of the things I did really like about this movie, besides the way that it was shot, because it is a really well cinematography. Yeah. People can talk about Rian Johnson all they want, but I will have to say that they do such a good job at the cinematography of this movie and the shooting of this movie and the camera angles and everything. There's so many things that are caught so very well. And I think that Rian Johnson had Kylo Ren on the right path to being the bad guy.
Yes.
Because when we see him in episode 7, he's kind of a whiner.
Yeah. He's very much an episode 2 Anakin.
Yeah, he's the big baby whiner. In episode 8, he's going full on bad guy. He's killing his mentor. He's doing all the things. He is, embracing it. And then when JJ took back over for episode 9, we go back to I'm unhappy. We get back to whiner. So yeah, I really like the direction that he was taking Kylo's character, and I would have liked to have seen that trajectory keep climbing up.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't have any expectation of him being Darth Vader-ish, but I liked the fact that he was trying to channel his grandfather's evilness.
Right. And one thing about the whole Kylo Ren arc, I was trying to think of another franchise, another film series, books, whatever, where at the end of the second act, the sidekick villain, like the number 2 guy, kills his boss and takes over.
Right?
Like, Saruman doesn't kill Sauron and take over at the end of the 2 Towers.
Right, yeah.
And I can't come up with another franchise of this scale where something like that's happened.
Right.
If Starscream takes over, it's because Megatron faked his death and is going to come back and, curb stomp the guy at the end of the episode.
True.
I had never seen that before, and I was so hyped to see what could come next because I hadn't seen it. This was new. This was cool. What do you mean people don't like this?
Yeah. No, there's definitely some really cool aspects to this movie that we hadn't seen in other Star Wars movies, and I really do think that and kind of like what you're talking about right there, just with the way that you see Kylo's character act out against his boss, Yeah. The closest we've come to seeing one of the Sith destroy the other Sith is Vader tossing the Emperor down the hole.
Right.
But unless I'm mistaken, but I don't think I am in this instance.
No, but that wasn't necessarily to replace him. It was just to get rid of him at that point.
True.
He was being redeemed in that moment. He wasn't becoming more evil. So I thought that was cool and just very, full of possibilities.
Thank you, Janice.
Almost as full of possibilities as when Wesley Crusher left the Enterprise to, be a traveler type character.
To be a traveler and take on new things.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to find out more about that possibility, you should really check out this podcast right there, Crusher Convo. So, Kylo's attitude stems from his hatred for Luke, and he lashed out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's let's see. We didn't like it because the entire story is nothing but member berries.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We have almost no character set up for most of the characters and lots of look at that CGI. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, yeah, I can see that. Obviously, when you've got 40 years of franchise history, you're going to have callbacks and things included for the fans and things included because the people making it are fans.
Right.
And when you have that much material to work with, yeah, there's going to be a lot of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Happen, you know,
it's definitely going. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a thing.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once.
It's okay.
Because that's the way I do things.
Multitasking if I was on a Monday.
If I was prepared, what kind of show would a live show be? Callbacks are great, but when the callback is the plot, you failed. I don't think the callback was the plot, but a callback was pretty important to the story that was being told, because it was used. We were using that to not only justify why Luke did what he did at the end of episode 7, explaining why he was on that island, but also explaining why Kylo had ceased being Ben and it was becoming Kylo and moving on to something different. I understand what you're saying, Innocence Lost, and I'm not dragging you on this. I'm just saying that I understand to some degree, but I think that there was more to it than just being that the callback was the plot.
Now, The Force Awakens, that was a callback plot.
You had to talk about The Force Awakens.
There's a reason we didn't do that movie, because I have trouble.
I may have said Silo Ren, yeah.
Swallow Ren. Swallow. Do you have a cowl or something you can put on?
Absolutely. And like I said, we're not dragging you for it, bud. We're happy to have you here, and we take all opinions. And and if you would have said that to me, if you would have said that, like John said, if you would have said that with The Rise of Skywalker was a callback plot, I would have been like, absolutely it is. And yeah, so
yeah,
well, yeah, like I said, we're like I said, we don't want to drag anybody. We welcome differing opinions, for sure. Because that's, having a differing opinion is how you talk about things. And I've had different opinions on different things, and I've had people come to me and say, hey, this is how I feel about it. And in their opinion at times has altered my perspective on things, because, sometimes my take in the moment was from having been a Star Wars fan since I was 6 years old. I'm 48 now. So having 40 years of Star Wars under my belt and being like, hey, this is what you're doing. That's what I want you to do. So anyway, it was nice having John with us tonight, but yeah. So anyway, crap, I forgot I gave him admin powers. Anyway.
What is that? This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do from. What is that?
I don't remember, but I've been doing it for so long. I should probably,
Okay.
I should probably do the research on that and find out, what it is that's from. Yeah. Let's see. They're having their own conversation in the comments. They're like, screw their conversation. We're gonna have our own. Did Wesley Crusher join the Maquis, or does he just sympathetic?
Maquis.
I like saying Maquis. Whatever.
Philistine.
I'm a Philistine. Wasn't it? Let's see. Maquis Wesley became a traveler, master of disguise. Is that what it's from?
Okay.
That's the same one with turtle.
That's why I blacked it out. Okay.
The best movie ever.
No, that was the Troll Hunter movie you still haven't watched with me.
I think John and I will both fight you on that one. Yeah. Wesley can time travel and basically has supernatural powers. Woohoo!
It's pretty cool.
And Janice would agree. And she also says that we're very funny.
Why, thank you. My wife
used
to think I was funny.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to leave that on screen for a hot second. No, I'm just kidding. But take a quick break here because we need to show you something. It's going to be a lot of fun. If I have it open properly, I probably don't. Because why would I do things like that?
Wait, is this
anyway?
It is the thing.
That is the thing. The thing that I was supposed to be doing tonight that I had forgotten about. And this is why I keep John around, because he's like, hey, aren't we supposed to be doing the thing? And I was like, you're right. We are totally supposed to be doing the thing. And that thing is, so you see that on the screen there, that is Venom: The Last Dance. Tom Hardy returns in Venom: The Last Dance in the final film of this epic trilogy, hailed by critics as a wild and an exhilarating ride and a spectacular showdown you don't want to miss. Watch Venom: The Last Dance, available to buy or rent on digital now, rated PG-13. Here's the great things, guys. You can get a free copy of it.
Yeah. How do we do that?
Well, if you go down to the show notes down below, you will find an email sign up where it says sign up for free loot. If you go there and you sign up for free loot, you have an opportunity to win with digital code so that you can watch Venom: The Last Dance for free. So we've got a couple of those codes to give away, and we would love to do that. So again, go to fsfpopcast.com/contact or click the link in the show notes down below. Sign up and give us your email address. We need your full name and your email address. If you give us those things, you will sign up to win not only Venom: The Last Dance, but when we have other giveaways, you're automatically entered into those ones. It's perpetual winning. You have opportunity to win in the next couple giveaways. So why wouldn't you? Right? Okay.
Right.
So go sign up. It's fun. And you get fun things.
Yep.
Kathleen says that she still thinks you're funny. I think you know.
Yep.
Which she says, which is why you're still my husband.
Yep.
And apparently Janice says that you called him old, and that was funny.
That's my favorite comment of the night so far, including the ones where Kathleen says that I'm funny and we're still married. But,
only mostly painful and hurtful, but we'll talk about that later.
You're only a couple years older than me, but you'll always be a couple years older than me.
And again, so yeah. Janice says Will Wheaton is so very amazing. And Kathleen says, yes, he is. We loved interviewing him. He's such a sweetheart. Yeah. Still one of the only interviews to make Kathleen cry.
Yeah.
So, but it's a very sweet moment. And
Really
there was no malice there when he made her cry. It was just a very touching thing that he said to her. And it was, he's one heck of a dude. And we would love to get him back on the show sometime. Now that he's coming back into social media and having involvement again, he needed a break. He took his break. He's back posting, and I get to see my bedhead pictures again in the morning, so I'm pretty happy, dude.
Yep.
So, but yeah, and Jesse says, and I'm younger. Woot woot. So anyway, now that we all know that I'm old, and anyway, I don't know where I was going with that because I forgot because I'm old.
In 15 years, you'll start to qualify for Social Security.
It's bad enough that I'm getting AARP stuff in the mail.
Kendall signed you up for that.
No, I don't think she did. And they started showing up. And I'm like, they have a TikTok channel. AARP does. And it made it into my For You page one day. And I'm like, they're showing all these songs that were like popular in the 90s and all these things. And I'm like, well, yes, I do have lower back pain. Thank you for asking.
Yep.
So
it's time for my 3 times daily ibuprofen.
Whether I want to or not. This is my functional medicine. I take ibuprofen. Not cool, Magooch. Anyway. Yeah.
Something Wallaby Way, Sydney. I don't know. Anyway.
Life alert, walk-in tubs. I can send so many things. No. But anyway, yeah. So, there's going to be a lot of takes on The Last Jedi, and I think that you're always going to have people who are going to dislike it and that's fine. With as big of a fandom as Star Wars has, you're not always going to please everyone. That's an impossibility. It will never happen. You'll have people who like The Rise of Skywalker. You're going to have people who don't like The Rise of Skywalker. They do exist, John. I've talked to them.
Yeah, I actually know a few that like The Rise of Skywalker as well. And, that's fine. I'm glad they enjoy something.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you like something from Star Wars, you're a Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
If you like something from Star Wars, I'm not going to denigrate you because you like something that I don't necessarily care for.
Yeah.
I want you to be a fan. I want you to enjoy what you enjoy. I want you to love what you love. And because you know what? Here's the thing. If that one thing is the thing that you love, and that's the only thing that you're really hanging on to in Star Wars, that one thing is going to encourage you to watch this, to watch that, to watch that, to watch that. It's a snowball effect. And it gets you to be part of the fandom and talk with the fandom and be involved with the fandom. So, you know, why would I ever denigrate somebody for that? The AARP is a path to paying someone considered to be unnatural.
Okay, so here's the thing. You don't actually have to be old to sign up for AARP, and you can get some really good discounts with it. I'm just saying, hypothetically.
As long as you like dinner at 4:00, you can absolutely get some really great discounts.
Who
Early bird gets the worm. Tim will soon say, I've fallen and I can't get up. That was actually about a week ago when I fell at the end of the driveway. So,
oh, you poor old man living in Michigan.
Dude, when you fall and you watch your feet go up above you in midair, I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah. The only good thing about falling in winter is if you lay there for a minute, you kind of ice your back down automatically.
Well, it happened immediately because when I fell and my hoodie slid down, so I landed almost, bare back on the ice. So that was fantastic. Yeah.
Icebergs are no joke.
Yeah. But so Janice, we would have never guessed. She has a crush on Will Wheaton. And why shouldn't you? He's a handsome feller. I get it. He's a handsome feller. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So, his wife might have an exception to some of that, but, just saying. But, that's never stopped a crush before.
It's never stopped us from getting an interview before either.
Yeah. Fun fact, kids, if you want to start a podcast, don't email their wife at 3:00 in the morning. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
Not that we know anything about that.
We should really start a class on what not to do. We've made enough mistakes. Instead of having the class to how to do a podcast, we do the how not to do the podcast. Pay us $50 and we'll show you all the mistakes we've made and how to not repeat them.
There's so many podcast experts out there who are like, this is amazing. Look at all the cool things that we could do. And we're like, yeah, we're pretty stupid, so don't do this.
We might be onto something here. We should talk after the show.
It could be a thing. Granzier says Tim can't run away from the Michigan Dogman like he used to. Well, now, what does that mean? About 12 seconds in, what the predator sees after me running? That's about accurate. And if I'm running, you better be running because I'm only running if there's some danger.
I'm only running if there's a taco truck. Which, by the way, this needs to be a thing. Needs to be a thing. Okay, there used to be ice cream trucks that went through neighborhoods. Is that still a thing? But taco trucks.
So in the area in which we live, ice cream trucks really aren't a thing. But I know in some of the bigger cities they are.
Right.
But you know how much money a roving taco and tequila truck would make?
Playing the Mexican hat dance as it goes through the neighborhood.
Just on a loudspeaker, tacos and tequila. That's all I need. But yeah. The best part of waking up is ice in your butt crack. That's how Tim. No, that is not how I felt. No.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, Granzer, we're all from Michigan. John and Kathleen are from the east side of the state. I'm from the west side of the state. Except for Ben. Ben, who's not here tonight. Ben is from Alaska. So yeah, three of the four of us are from Michigan. So but yeah, and Janice says, I want to start a podcast like you. Well, we can tell you what not to do.
Yeah.
We're all up on that. And Janice is from California.
Cool.
So cool. Over here, too many buttons. Over here, the taco trucks are normally just out of some clubs after the clubs close. Yeah. Now we do have some food trucks in the area. A lot of barbecue trucks, and we recently got a taco truck down by my office. It's a problem.
Yeah. The nearest good barbecue truck is like a half-hour drive for me.
No, that one's about a
Yeah.
10-minute drive, just in the opposite direction. The taco truck is literally a 2-minute drive from my office.
Oh man.
And it's authentic. These two really nice Mexican fellas work the taco truck, and it's just all authentic food, and it's just my mouth is totally not watering thinking about how good those tacos are. Watching episode 3 of the Skeleton Crew. Excellent.
So much fun.
So good. It's so good. And if you hadn't heard us before, you can join us on Thursday night, which we'll probably have to do it at 7:00 this week too, John, because I got to work till 6.
7.
But 7:00 Thursday night, we'll review episode 4 because that comes out tomorrow. And I really, really, really want to see more of Kim, the owl cat lady. I know I said that earlier, but I want to say it again. Yeah, I know. Woo! Who?
Yeah. See, I'm okay with the 7:00 start time because then I can take an after work nap. And then be ready for the show. Yeah.
That's okay, Granger. I can't spell any day. So we'd take no.
If it wasn't for autocorrect, we'd never know what Tim was texting us.
That's probably also true. And sometimes, though, the autocorrect, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it hurts.
Sometimes it makes me say things I didn't Nintendo.
Exactly. We were talking about a possible upcoming guest for the show. And their name, the only thing that they had in common with this person's name from Star Wars was that there was a V and a couple S's in it and a T. But it thought I was spelling Ventress, so it automatically autocorrected to Ventress, which I think is still kind of funny.
Yeah.
They have taco trucks across from H's Tuesday. Ooh, there you go.
Only if you bring some back for me.
Nah, don't expect that. She said episode 3 was much more exciting than episode 1 and 2. Agreed. A lot more going on, and we're getting the story getting built up. I'm excited. Excited. Janice says, me and my dad are going to the event on January 18th, 2025. We'll see you all there. My dad said hi. Hello, Janice's dad. Hello, Mr. Rico.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anywho, now,
where were we?
Well, we were kind of wrapping up the ideas or talk about The Last Jedi, and so basically, I really think that this is one of those movies that has grown on me. I had some issue with this movie in the beginning. John and I had talked about it, and we've been talking about this movie off and on for 7 years, and I think that I had some issues with it when it first came out. A lot of those have gotten resolved because, like it is with any other Star Wars project, give it time. More Star Wars helps answer questions.
Yep.
And some of those things that I had questions about, that I had thoughts about, get answered in other projects and get tied into other projects. And what they've done through The Mandalorian has really helped the sequel trilogy a lot. It's given it a really nice base. Innocence Lost says, we were discussing the plot of The Last Jedi and how Jar Jar manipulated both the Empire and the Rebels to deplete their forces and to control once and for all. You have no idea how much I want to see a Darth Jar Jar. Other than the Lego.
I would have rather seen that than the episode 9 we got. Just saying.
I would love to see Darth Jar Jar, like full power, because this is a whole can of worms, Innocence. You have no idea. I am full on the Jar Jar was a Sith Lord train. You can't convince me otherwise. George gave into the clap back from the fans and stepped away from the story. And unless I get Ahmed Best on here or George Lucas to tell me differently, I will always believe that Jar Jar is a Sith.
Yeah. Yep.
So
part of the reason I like The Last Jedi, I saw it twice in theaters, like opening weekend and then like a month later. But the month later viewing, Kathleen and I went and saw it, had a friend with us, and had this realization of, hey, wait a minute. you're not mad at me right now. Kathleen wasn't. It's like, normally right now you're getting mad at me over stupid things. And that was the night that we found out she was pregnant. So Last Jedi into finding out I was going to be a dad within like an hour was kind of, maybe my memories are skewed because I was happy about other things.
Well, as far as annoyed as I was with
Rebels,
the Phantom Menace when that came out,
yeah,
because I was so up on the anticipation of seeing Darth Maul and this new bad guy, and who only got 5 minutes of screen time and then got cut in half in like 3 lines.
Yeah.
Which I was like thoroughly pissed off about at the end.
Oh yeah.
But at the other hand, it was my first time taking my son Parker to a movie. He was only about 6 months old, and he slept through the entire movie. I held him, and it was a cool experience for me to be able to watch Star Wars in a theater with my brand new son. And it was just, it was amazing to me. So as much as that movie annoyed me at the time, I have so many good memories attached to that it will always be one of my favorite Star Wars experiences.
Yeah.
So,
and 7 years ago, we had just known each other for a couple of months. And at that point, you didn't even like Star Wars animation.
This is also true.
So,
and now I just restarted. I'm going through my chronological watch through again on Star Wars. And I just started season 1 of Clone Wars again last night. And I was so happy to start that series again.
So much fun.
So much fun. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get through all the Star Wars so that when Andor 2 lands in the spring, I'm ready to watch it.
Ooh.
I want to get through all of that to get up to that point. So when Andor season 2, episode 1 hits, I have just finished season 1, season finale. That's my plan.
And then as soon as that ends, you can watch Rogue One, and then you can watch A New Hope.
Exactly. And then I'm, right back through it.
Okay.
So,
let's see. I like that plan.
I like that plan. I missed a comment here from Granger. Granger says, not to change topics, but did any of you recall the UFO sighting that happened on the west side of Michigan in the mid-90s? I don't even recall that story. I mean, I grew up in West Michigan. So from the age of 6 on.
We don't talk about that here.
So, yeah, I don't remember it at all, Granger. Sorry. And I think John was living on the east side of the state at that point. So I don't know that he would have been around.
We had our own weird things over here. Like
Michigan. This is also true. Let's see. Janice says, my dad took me to go watch Star Trek The Next Generation when I was 4 years old, and I was sitting on my dad's lap. Oh. Nice. My mom has those same memories. She was pregnant with my brother, 77, took him at 3, and my sister was a few months old in 80. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool Star Wars tie-in. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was 14 months old when my mom took me to see Empire.
Nice.
That explains a few things. Anyway.
It does. No, I was only like 4 or 5 when Empire came out, but I don't remember it at all. I don't know if I actually went to go see that movie in the theater. The first one that I recall seeing in the theater, I was 8 when Jedi came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember seeing that in the theater, and having some funs with that. But anyway, just to kind of close off the Last Jedi talk, it is the 7th anniversary of that show. It does add some really cool things to the Star Wars lore. There are some things that could have and should have been done better. John talking about the movement of the rocks, me talking about the Mary Poppinsing and the like I said, I agree with Luke being the hermit. I just have a problem with him being the Onceler. But those kind of come down to, just in my opinion, to some degree, us being longtime fans, kind of nitpicking some of the things about it, and that's fine, because as a fan, you're going to be critical about the things you love, and that's absolutely okay. There's a difference though between being critical and just crapping on it to crap on it. Right. So,
yeah, I remember like sitting in the theater, like when Leia gets sucked out into space before the Mary Poppins thing. We're like, oh, Carrie Fisher died. They're just going to leave her body in space now, right?
No, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I do.
Was kind of heartless, but
yeah. I was like, wow, that's kind of a. I'm like, they got to end the story somewhere, I guess. But I love the way that they wrapped it up. That's one of the big things about the Rise of Skywalker that I did like was that it was a beautiful send off for Leia, and I thought they did a really good job of closing that up. It was probably the high point of that movie, if I'm being honest. On March 8th, 1994, multiple individuals are reporting and sighting multiple UFOs in West Michigan, the United States. It was described as resembling flickering Christmas lights. Consisting of 5 or 6 objects. There were 4 lights. Anyway, shaped or circled with blue, red, or white, green lights.
Oh, that was a Star Trek reference.
That's a Star Trek reference.
I'm so proud of you.
So just thought I'd ask. It was quite popular considering one of the moments I was actually having it. Sorry. No need to apologize. Actually, I don't recall it at all. 1994, I would have been 17. Yeah. But Crusher Combo says that perfect, Tim. So proud. So anyway,
yeah, with the lights in the sky, the whole drone thing happening. Well, are they drones? I don't know. Every
once in a while, I gotta. But yeah, I don't recall it at all. But hey, it's totally potentially a thing. There's always weird stuff. Let's see. All right. So, hey, I just realized we're almost at the top of the hour. So last week, Wednesday, we released an interview with Lori Ulster. Now, she is an editor, writer, producer. She has been working with TrekMovie.com for quite a while. And she is also very, very involved with Trek Talks 4. And so we talk with her a lot. There's more information about Trek Talks 4 inside of that interview. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, you're going to want to. Plus, if you are a Gilmore Girls fan,
it's a great show.
I almost said Girlmore Girls. But if you are a Gilmore Girls fan, check it out because she wrote a book called Life Lessons from the Gilmore Girls. And there's a whole thing on there about, goodness sakes, I can't remember the name of the character, but she was like, what would this character do? And then don't do that thing. But I can't remember the character's name because I did not watch Gilmore Girls all that often. My daughter did, but I did not do it all that often.
It's a good show. You should watch it, Tim.
I don't have a problem with it. I just haven't watched it.
That's fair.
Spot was the highlight of the interview. Look at my fancy butthole. Yeah.
And other things that when you have no
context. That definitely made it into the podcast. Yes. Yes, we know that Will Wheaton was part of the Big Bang Theory. That's why the title of the episode was what it was, to reference his appearance there. And yes, Lori is amazing. I had such a fun time talking with her. She's so very cool. And check out the interview, if nothing else, for her information about Trek Talks 4 and what's going on, because she reveals a little bit about what's upcoming. And if nothing else, you get to see Spot the cat. Spot is literally crawling all over her and around her. Clearly, she has a very good relationship with her cat. Her cat's like, I want to be comfortable. I'm going to be here. I'm a cat. I do what I want. And that's pretty much what cats do. So, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, when we're getting ready to start the interview, she's like, I'm so sorry. My cat is, not wanting to be away from me. I'm like, it's fine. We're animal fans. We can handle having a cat on the interview. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna distract us none.
Our pets usually show up in interviews. So
right, the fact that Toast is laying on the floor like right there.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she hasn't barked at anything is kind of impressive, but she's sleeping pretty hard. So looks like somebody shot the corgi.
Oh.
So yeah, she's comfy though. We are an animal friendly podcast. We love to talk about people. We love to talk about people's pets. We did not actually, you know what? I don't think we talked about Marlo during the, but if we get to have him back on the podcast, I guarantee you we will. Because But yeah, so that was last week on the old FSF PopCast. This upcoming week, episode 216, talk with comic book artist Stuart Sager. Now, he's done a lot of work in the Lego DC Bionicle series. He is probably the premier artist for that series. And if you've seen anything from Bionicle, you have definitely seen Stuart's work. He's done work for Kiss, The Walking Dead. He's done a bunch of work for in the Batman series. And we have a very cool part of the discussion is when we're talking about Batman and when he's drawing them, why he draws them a certain way because of the imprint that has been made on him in his life about Batman and especially with Robin and all these things. It's a very cool conversation. It's honestly one of my favorite interviews that we've ever done, and just had such a wonderful time talking with Stuart. So really cool comic book artist, and got to meet him at the Grand Rapids Comic-Con this past year back in November here in 2024. And just talked with him and said, I got to have you on the show. I was looking at all his art up on the wall and everything, and I was like, yeah, got to get you on the show. So very excited to have him on the show, and that will be coming out this upcoming Wednesday. Let's see. I don't know what to wear to the event. Jeans and t-shirt, because it's going to be on, or you wear pajamas. Nobody will see you. Nobody's going to see me. I won't actually be on camera. I'm just helping promote and get things ready. I am a Star Trek ambassador. Our shows are Star Trek ambassadors, Trek Talks ambassadors for that show. It's a completely online thing. You'll be able to comment just like you are now, Janice, so you won't have to worry about. You can wear whatever you want to wear.
Well, there are also in-person events that happen in some locations, if I remember right.
There are, yes, and Crusher Convo is also a Trek Talks ambassador as well. We're both very proud to be ambassadors.
It's an honor.
That. It is. It really is. Oh yeah, and Sam Witwer's dogs. Lenny, gotta love Lenny. I love the fact too. By the way, I love the fact that he gave his dogs human names. That just always amuses me. So, but yeah, so that's coming up. Like I said, you'll be able to see this interview on our podcast with Stuart Sager this upcoming Wednesday. So check that out. And as a reminder, this Thursday at 7 p.m., we will be talking about the Skeleton Crew, episode 4, and the awesomeness. Will Wheaton won't care what I wear to the event. Probably not, only because Will won't be able to see you. But if you're able to get to one of the in-person events, they're not black tie. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about getting any, being fancy or anything like that. It'll just be, most of the people that are on the screen are going to be in jeans and t-shirts as well. So I don't think you have anything to worry about there. Yeah. But yeah, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Buddy Jesus. Oh, well, Janice is going in person. Fantastic.
Oh, awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah, I don't think you need to worry about dressing up. I think if you're just going some cool, comfy clothes, you'll be A-okay.
Yeah.
Tim, do you have a piece of art from Stuart Sager that you own? No, I do not. By the time I met Stuart, it was at the end of one of the days. I had to get gas in my car to go home. So my choice was buy his art or get home. I chose get home. But I will be buying some stuff from him because on his website, which will be listed in the show notes, there's some really cool art. Actually, I'm going to show you one because he's got a really cool comic book cover. Now, he has his own comic book called Shiver in the Dark, but the one I want, well, I'll share this picture if it will come up for me. It's not wanting to work because, again, why would I ever plan ahead for these type of things? And I think that worked. It did. All right. Woohoo.
Wait, is technology cooperating with you for once?
Technology is cooperating to some degree. This isn't exactly the cover, but it's as close as I'm going to be able to find on a quick find.
Okay.
But he did a really, really cool cover for a Batman comic.
Oh,
with Batman and the Joker, and it's just really, really very cool. And I want that cover. Anyway, but yeah, he's got some different art that he has up. That is one of them, and that's the one I want. So I'm hoping to have that here very soon. Crusher, oh, no bueno. Well, hey, Jesse, feel better, huh? Go get you some meds and feel better. Checkered Vans and Star Trek. Go with the Vans and the Star Trek. I like the Vans and Star Trek. I think that will work, especially for the event. I mean, it is Star Trek related, so. Yeah.
Walking Dead short film with Whitwer's idea.
With military loss versus the yeah, it could be fun. Just kidding. Very good, gents. Have a good week, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy your interviews. Thank you, Granzer, and really appreciate all your involvement with the show, your comments, and the kind words you've said about our show. Greatly, greatly appreciated, and always look forward to seeing what you have to say about the interviews and your thoughts on them. So much appreciated.
Yes.
All right, guys. John, unless you got anything else.
No, I think we've done our part to try to irritate some parts of the internet. We'll try again Thursday.
Exactly. Granted, also love the Laura. Yeah, Laura Bartram. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, very, very cool stuff. Our Andromeda interviews. Those were cool. Those were fun times. All right, guys. That is going to do it for the FSF PopCast on behalf of John here and Kathleen, who has been lurking in the comments, and Ben, who is 4 hours behind us in Alaska. Okay, bye.
Get better, Janice.
Yeah, feel better. And may the force be with you as you continue to live long and prosper. Bye-bye.
Copyright 2024 FSF PopCast. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF PopCast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com.